2026, beware of three things. Number one, distractions through false friendships. Number two, intimidation through false reports. And number three, deception through false security. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I was doing a recent study on Nehemiah. I've been studying Nehemiah for a while now. And when I got to Nehemiah chapter 6, I began to see a lot of things which I feel, please don't take this as a prophetic word or something, just take it as a counsel from a sister to you, which I feel is very, very important. I feel the insights there are things that can help us even as we move into the new year. Compliment of the season and Happy New Year already. 2026 is going to be an amazing year. Now, Nehemiah 6. Before this time, we see Nehemiah against all odds building the wall, rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, the broken down walls of Jerusalem. And he faces a lot of oppositions. And by the time we get to Nehemiah 6, we see that he had finished building the walls. The Bible recorded that the walls were all built. There were no gaps, but the doors of the gates had not yet been fixed. And that was very instructive for me. It was instructive for me because the enemy saw that all the gaps he could use to come into Jerusalem had been taken away. But because the doors of the gates had not yet been fixed, he wanted a way to still get into Jerusalem. All the gaps had been closed, but the doors of the gate had not yet been set up. The enemy was making his last desperate attempt to ensure that the doors were left open. He still had a way to get in. And then he began all sorts of things just to make sure that he had a legal ground to do whatever he wanted to do in Jerusalem. Now, the first thing that the enemy did, the enemy here, our overall enemy is the devil, but here, we see him coming through Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem, those three people specifically. And the first attempt that the enemy made was distraction through false friendships. And he told Nehemiah, guy, come to this place, let's meet, let's talk, let's have a conversation. It looked like after all of this time that these people had opposed me, intimidated me, spoken ill about me, tried to do their worst against me, now they wanted us to be friends. And it's a bait that sometimes people take. They feel that these people are no more speaking against me. Now they want us to just hang out. There's just this social gathering and let's just be fine and let's be cool and let's be friends. But this alliance was a distraction. If Nehemiah had left what he was doing at that time to go meet these people, they would have distracted him from what he had come to Jerusalem to do. His whole purpose there was to rebuild the wall. So as we move into 2026, beware of alliances, friendships, social gatherings that would take you away from purpose. Whatever God has put in your hands, that's purpose. You don't have to wait for one mighty trumpet to start sounding and saying, I called you to the third mountain. No, what God has put in your hand is purpose. And anything that will distract you from it, beware of it in 2026. Any social camaraderie that will take you out of what God has entrusted into your care is not worth your time. Now, how did Nehemiah deal with this particular distraction? How did he deal with this false friendship? He dealt with it by placing weight on what God had given him. He said, how can I leave this great work that God has given to me to come and start sipping tea with you wherever you said we should come and meet? It's not worth it. It's not worth my time. And the enemy was relentless. The enemy was persistent. 4 times they kept coming, sending him the same message. And the 4 times Nehemiah stood his ground. I cannot leave this great work I'm doing to come and meet you there. Now, if you don't place weight on the things that God has given you, you will be easily distracted in the coming years. And the coming years are not years to be distracted from the purpose that God has given to you. If God has put, even if it's the faintest whisper of his eternal purposes in your heart, if all God has asked you to do in 2026 is stay with your family, nurture your children, disciple them, please place weight on it. It's great work. Don't be distracting yourself, moving here and there, looking at what others are doing and trying to form alliances and social gatherings that do not add to your destiny, that will distract you from purpose. So Nehemiah said, I'm engaged in a great work, guys. I cannot come. Be ready to stand your ground. Be ready to shut down every distraction. Be brutal in your focus. It's very important. And the second thing that the enemy did when he saw that this friendship thing is not working, this bait I want to use to catch this guy is not working, the next thing he did was he came with intimidation. And then he sent a servant to bring one lengthy letter saying how rumors have gone around and they have heard that Nehemiah now wants to be king, how he has gathered prophets to start blowing trumpet. They cooked up this lie. It was looking juicy and oily. And I learned from Nehemiah's response that we must not be childish. So in 2026, when you are doing a great work, expect people to bring false reports about you. Expect rumors to fly. Expect people to say everybody has heard that this and this and this. Expect people to hold false views of who you are. And when such things happen, you don't have a business trying to explain that this is what you meant by what you said and what you did. If you waste your time doing that, the enemy has gotten you. And when they came, Nehemiah did not spend time trying to refute them. He stood this guy and said, what you have said is a lie. And then the Bible said he went on and continued his work even with greater determination. So when there are rumors, when there are false reports, your answer to that in 2026, put your focus more on what God has given to you. With greater determination, do what the Lord has committed into your hands. That's the answer to that kind of a thing. The answer is not to begin to hold a press conference or to try to go on social media everywhere explaining. The more you explain, the more the enemy will rope things around you. So when they came with intimidation, through false reports, through rumors, Nehemiah was not moved. Even when they threatened that we tell the king, and they were hinting at muddying the relationship between Nehemiah and the king, he wasn't moved. He just focused on his work. He said, you guys, you are lying. And he focused on his work. So that was the second thing. And the third attempt, they came through deception by presenting false safety. Now, this was through somebody, a priest, who stayed in the temple and who came with all sorts. Nehemiah went to visit him and then he began to give all sorts of false prophecies. See, these guys are coming to kill you tonight. Let's enter into the temple. Let's shut the door so that you'll be safe, at least you'll be protected. And Nehemiah's response also is very, very instructive. Nehemiah told the guy, said, how can somebody such as I am begin to hide in the temple? I can't do it. He knew it was a bait because he wasn't a Levite or a priest who could hide himself in the temple. Putting himself there would have even put him at a greater risk. It would have caused him to sin. And that's another thing that we must be very aware of as we move into 2026. Deception will be on the increase. And many times deception will be cloaked in care, in concern for your safety, for your well-being. They will come with so much, there's a word we call it in Yoruba, they'll come with so much concern and care. And like, we're just caring about you. We just want to see that you're fine, that you're doing well. It's important you discern, as Nehemiah did. He discerned, and his response was like, no, I know what somebody in my position shouldn't do. And he turned to God in prayer, which is very important. Regardless of whether it's friendship, false friendships, or false reports, or false security, whatever way the enemy wants to come, let your prayer life be on fire. Be on fire in the place of prayer. Spend time with God in the place of prayer. I'm just going to do a recap of everything I have said as we move into 2026. If you want to finish that which God has put in your hands, if you want to be faithful in what God has put in your hands, after Nehemiah repeated all of these things, the Bible said, and they completed the walls in 52 days. The Lord helped them. They completed everything that God had committed into their care. And the enemy who had planned that Nehemiah would be embarrassed, Nehemiah would be intimidated, were the ones who were intimidated and embarrassed at the end of the day. If you want to get to the end of 2026 and hear, well done, thou good and faithful servant, you have done all that I've committed into your care this year, and you have been faithful. If we want to hear that, then we must not fall for distractions. The distractions that will come through false friendships, ungodly alliances. Some can even be godly alliances that are not in line with God's purpose for your life. We must not fall for intimidations through false reports. When people say all sorts of negative things about you, focus. With greater determination, focus on what God has put in your hands. And we must not fall for deception through false safety. We must not begin to seek safety where it is not. Safety comes from the Lord. The Lord will keep you safe when you are in His will. He will preserve you. He will protect you. Thank you so much for listening. Happy New Year in advance. 2026 is already blessed, like I said, and the Lord will keep our feet from being taken. The enemy is on rampage, but he is not our business. We are focusing on the kingdom of the King, advancing His kingdom and doing His will, and that is where our heart is stayed on. We'll be focused in the coming year, doing the will of God and thriving in it. God bless you.